we're going to do 3 things. So we're going to do the practice exam, chapter 1's practice exam. Part 1. Over here. Chapter 2 practice exam. I did that wrong. Sorry. Chapter 1 practice exam. Part 2. And then we are going to, then also not the chapter 1 exam. Yeah, I'm not having a good typing day. The exam will be sent to your email.
I remember as you were going through the syllabus, you were saying that the exams and the practice exams kind of follow the same format or layout. Are they the exact same or are they different?
No, they're pretty close. Some of the questions will be exactly on it. The financial statements, which will be on there, and you'll see what those are. They'll be in exactly the same format. Obviously, they don't have the same numbers and stuff, but yeah, they're very, very similar. There's no tricks. All right, send your email, and they have to be due. I usually put those due at the end of the following week. We'll continue. It'll be due September 17th, although I would encourage you to get it in sooner than that. Just because we're going to be doing more stuff in the class. Okay, so basically practice exam, part 1 is multiple choice. And the class will be able to get extra credit points on this one. We're going to do it in a Zoom poll. So I'll pull up in a minute here. But basically it goes like this, the extra credit points. Are, if the class gets at least half of them right, plus 2, you get 25% of them right. Oops. Plus 3, and if you get 100% of them right, plus 4. All right, so that's kind of funny what I have it set up there. So it's all done by how many people pick what answer. So for instance, if most people pick answer B, then for the class it'll be answer B. So this is one of those things that we're going to, and the poll is, it's not anonymous, but people won't be able to see who put what for the answer. I will, but no one else will. And only those people that participate in the poll get the extra credit points. So, which I think is fair. So anyway, so the practice exam, so chapter 1 practice exam part 1, and I sent that out, so you should have that. And we should probably pull that up now. So we'll start out with this one. I'm sorry. Never had that happen before. Huh. What if I move my camera around? I don't know. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, you guys have classes before this one? You know, I should know that because, yeah, I used to have a class that ended at 12:15. And now I feel bad because I think I went over a few times in that one too, so I guess what goes around comes around. But sorry for cutting out there. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so I forgot what I was doing now. Oh, let's go back to my share screen. Okay. So we're going to do part one exam. This is do multiple choice. This does not need to be turned in because when you do the poll will have your name listed on as participating in the poll. So you do not, this does not have to be submitted in Blackboard. So this will be Zoom poll only. Oops. This will be submitted in Blackboard. Okay, so part one, you do the poll. I'll have a list of who did the poll, and that's what I'll use for the extra credit points, and it's only for the extra credit points. So practice exam part one is not actually be submitted. Practice exam part two will be financial statements, and those will be submitted because everyone's going to do those on your own, whereas the poll is going to be done. You know.
Professor?
Yeah.
Professor, I'm sorry, you were frozen for a lot of that. Not many people could understand it. Could you just go over when those things are due again one more time, please? Sorry.
Oh, these up here, the practice exam part two will be done. Will be due next Friday. It'll be at the same time.
And the part one is today, or?
Part one's today only because it's going to be a poll, so you can't do that on your own. It's going to be in a Zoom poll. You'll see in a minute when we pull it up. But yeah, so let's see over here. I'm still lagging. Am I still lagging? I can tell by the delay that I probably am. I'm still lagging.
No, you're not. You're not lying.
You are.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I've never had it. I've never had it cut out. I mean, I've had it. You know, I've never had it cut out completely. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. I do got a question real quick.
Yeah.
Wait, so when's the handout due for chapter one?
Did we put that in? I don't know. Maybe I didn't put it in. I should have put that in last.
It's the 10th.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah, 10th. Yeah.
This is the hand. This is the handout we did in class, right?
It's the handout we finished that last Thursday.
Okay, in class, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so you just submit it there. And again, I'll take any form of it. If it's written by hand, notebook, you know, in a printout, whatever. If you just take, and if you don't have to scan it. If you don't have a scanner, just take pictures of it and submit all the pictures. Yeah, this is the easiest. If you're using Apple, yeah, if you want to put them all into one document, yeah, you can make them into a PDF file. And that's, you know, that's similar to what a scan would be. So, okay. You probably can do that in you have Android, but anyway. All right, so what I'm going to do now is let's pull up. Okay, so these are multiple choice questions. Some of them are difficult, some of them are easy. Save this so I don't overwrite it. Okay, so here is the multiple choice question. So everyone's going to go through this and put in your answers for it. And there should be a poll that popped up.
Are we going to be graded for these responses that we give?
Not individually, as a class.
Okay.
So for instance, it'll give a certain percentage, how many people picked A, how many people picked B, how many people picked C. So not individually. Now, I know individually, I could actually even look up what your answers were, but individually, it's not going to, register. I'm going to take it as a whoever, whatever was the most picked answer in the class. And again, you get anyone who answers it, who does the poll, will get extra credit points. Okay. Now you'll notice that the poll goes down to 10. In the multiple choice questions. Oh, they also go to 10. I thought they went to 7. I'm sorry. I was teaching this lousy class anyway. All right, so you're just gonna put your answers in for each of those. So A, B, C, D. Don't put E or F. There's no just because they're not there. But anyway, so for each one of these, you'll go through. Some are easy, some are hard. Some are things that we didn't. I think there's one that we didn't. I think there was one that we didn't go over. Maybe not. Yeah, there is. Number 3 is kind of a tricky one. And it's all you can figure it out though by elimination. And I think that's all I'll say on that one. So anyway, so you have to go through all 10 of them before you submit it. And you put your answers in. And I will be quiet while you do that. And again, you get extra credit points. So anyone who participates in the poll will get whatever extra credit points are given in the class. And most of the time, it's most of the people the class either get 75% or 100%. So the class does very well on these in general. I'll put it this way: it's worthwhile to participate usually. So I'm going to be quiet now, but so whatever you figure out for number 1, whichever answer, A, B, C, or D, pick that one in the poll. I don't know if you guys can see my poll or not, but anyway, and you just do this for every one of them. So A, B, C, or D. Some of them have calculations that are going to take a little longer, but so I will be quiet now. You guys, go to work.
Can you go down to number 3? I can't see all of them.
And is there anyone that did not get these? I sent them out.
You said you sent them to our email?
Yeah. Can you get them?
I didn't get an email, but I found it on Blackboard.
Yeah, I just checked before class and I didn't have anything, but I'll check again right now.
I got it.
I got the email.
Yeah, it was sent at 12:19. I checked right before then.
Well, actually, I usually pull up my Roosevelt email just to make sure, because if I get it, I usually know.
I didn't get it.
I'll send it out again. I'm having problems here. I'm having problems here today. Well, my problems are becoming your problems, which is a thing I apologize for. Okay, well, here you guys can see how I send out the email.
You know what? I didn't get it. What you sent me was something different.
I sent you something different?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Let's try this again. Hopefully I get that.
I got it.
Okay.
Same. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you.
Hey, my multiple choice little thing, it went away. I don't know how to get it back up.
Good.
We can ask you questions when we're doing this?
Yeah, I can't directly give you the answer, but
Okay.
what do you have?
Yeah, my question for number 7.
Yeah.
You just add that the common stock, it's $40,000 for common stock for cash. That'd be like equity, right? That they're getting. So you just add that to their total revenue.
No, be careful. Look at what we did for the income statement. This one only pertains to the income statement. Oh, look, I got
Oh, okay.
I got a tiny little spider. Open it back. Yeah. So only thing is, so yeah, and that's one of those questions where they give you too much information. So the poll, it should be up. I don't think I can. The only thing I can do here is end it. Not sure.
Maybe try selecting the bottom category that says polls.
Sure. Yeah, and if I end it, I'll end it for everybody. That's not what we want. I tell you what, if you cannot, if the poll isn't up, and given the way things are going this morning, I don't doubt that a bit. You can email me your answers. So just either write it down or type it into email 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and what your answers are, and I'll give you credit for it. And I apologize that I've never had a crash, and I've never so I don't doubt that there's problems with it.
So when we're like, so for number 7, it says the company began the year by issuing $40,000 of the common stock. So out of that 320,000, do we take out that 40,000 and then that 20,000 again, or adjust another 20,000 because the
For number 7,
yeah.
now be careful. This is the only thing they're asking for. So look at what we did for the income statement.
Oh, so we're just doing the net.
Yeah, yeah. And some of these, they'll give you more information than than you need. It took a while.
For number 8, could you remind me how we find the beginning retained earnings? Because I like don't know why I can't figure it out or if I'm doing something wrong.
They actually, it's a kind of a tricky one. They actually do not give you the equity section, which is what they're asking you for. But if you notice here, they give you the total assets are that. Total liabilities are that. So from this, you think about your balance sheet, you know, assets, liabilities, and equity. So you can figure out what the equity would be, the beginning equity.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. I sent out the part 2, if you want to start looking at it. That's what you're going to turn in. Finish up the part 1 first. If you're done with part 1, you can take a look at part 2. We're going to go over it together. If you want to take a look at it ahead of time, feel free.
Are you gonna go back up to 5 and 6? I'm done if you want. If I don't know.
Are there still people working on it? If you are, that's fine. If you want to just say yes, or if you just put it in chat that you're still working on it. I don't want to close the poll if people are still working on it. Just play this down here.
Could you go back up to 8 for a second?
Sure. I'll put both these up just in case someone else needs it. So.
Professor, I sent you a direct message.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't right now. I can't tell you what the answers are. I can't tell you what's in the poll until I close it. But if you can just text me the message or text me your answer for number 6. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, just so you know, these Zoom polls are kind of wacky, and it takes a lot of work, and they're very limited what they can do. Actually, I actually contacted the Zoom support. There's a problem with sometimes it'll randomly reorder the questions, which, as you can imagine, it's very confusing if you're doing a poll if question 1 and question 6 are reversed.
Was that like towards a question, or was that just like you just telling us?
I'm just telling you my problems.
Yeah, you just like caught me off guard for a sec, but it's all right.
Say the second quiz was.
Sorry?
Where did you say the second quiz was? You said it was in the same email.
Yeah, it's an email. It's also in Blackboard if you're not getting the email.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If there's a multiple choice question and if it goes down to E or whatever, and then it says there is no question. If there's an answer that you think is E, or like, but there is no E, like.
Yeah, well, yeah. For us, it'll only be A, B, C, or D. That last one, F, there is no answer. That's if we had a quiz that had 7. If we only had 7 multiple choice questions, then 8, 9.
So it means to say there's no answer, not there's no question.
No, there's no question. It doesn't apply to this one because we have 10. But for instance, let's say that we only had 9 Like if it looked like this, it would say there's no question 10. The problem is that the poll, wasn't what I meant to do. There you go. The problem with the polls is that you have to fill the whole thing in before you can submit it. And so so my polls are all in groups of 10. So 10, 1 through 10, 11 through 20, whatever. So anyway, you just answer as many questions as are given on the poll, and then the rest of them you just got to put in. Actually, you put in any answer; it doesn't really matter. But just answer your question directly for this class. You won't use E or there is no question. It'll be A, B, C, or D for all.
I don't know if my second quiz isn't loading all the questions, but is there just one question we have to do, and that's 11 for part 2?
For part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, part 2 is just the one financial statements.
Oh, okay, good, okay.
So for this group test, right, you said that it'll be whatever answer people pick the most of?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Democratic. All right. Let's see. Is there anyone still working on the multiple choice?
Yeah, number 6. I just need to see the answers. All right.
Excuse me, Professor?
Yeah.
Does, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was about to say. Does inventory and land count as equipment?
Oh, are you in part 2? Part 2, the inventory and the land will be under the assets.
Under assets?
Are you in part 2 or?
I'm on part 2, yeah.
Yeah. They'll be in under assets on that. But yeah, probably. Let's say, that will be. Yeah, so these will all be assets. And we'll talk about this format. It's kind of a kooky format compared to what we're used to. Okay, is anyone still working on it? Oh, yes. Got another one in. Okay.
I am, but I don't see the test.
Okay, guys. So a couple of you still working on it. Okay.
I'm still working on part 2.
Same.
Yeah. No, well, I'm okay. I'm only asking for the if people. You're still working on part 1 on part 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm past 4 though.
Well, did you actually get the?
No, not the end. I didn't get number 6 yet. I just need to do something.
But you got the actual handout though, right?
Oh, like myself in the email?
Either email or through Blackboard.
Yeah, I got those. If everyone got those, yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Professor,
part 2, that's due after class, or that's like due after today?
Yeah, it's actually not due. The actual due date is not till next week, but we're gonna go over it today after we close the poll here. And then, yeah, so then we'll go ahead and, but you're gonna need it to do the test. The test will be sent out this afternoon, probably like maybe an hour or so after class. And that's not due for a week. So
Okay.
not due till next Friday. But again, I would encourage you to do it earlier. And here's the. Oh, I'm on the wrong camera for one thing. I strongly encourage you to do the exam as soon as you can, because next class we're going to jump into. It's not completely different, obviously, but it's a similar. It's similar, but it's a little bit different. The reason I say that is you don't want to have this stuff start like snowballing. If I would encourage you to do the exam soon after I send it out as possible, hopefully by the end of this week, send it, because we're going to start chapter 2, which is a real kind of different chapter than this one. And just to make it easy on yourself, basically. It's up to you. You're all adults. You make your own decisions, but that would encourage you to do that. To do it as soon after it's sent out as possible, just because you don't want to get behind.
Professor, I'm having trouble opening up part 2. Well, actually not opening it up, but being able to write on it.
Did you open it in a PDF or in a Word file?
PDF.
Yeah, if you open it in the Word, that's the one you can actually write in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Yeah, see if you can do that one. Yeah, and by the way, I know some people don't, I don't use Word, but whatever. It actually does come, the school, all students have the Office 365. So you should have access to Excel and all that through the school. And there is you can actually download it onto your onto your device, whatever it is. And the download one works a little bit better, I think, than the online, my personal opinion. It seems to be a lot faster, and it seems, and the online one is kind of a little bit hit or miss as far as putting in settings and stuff. You put in settings and sometimes they disappear. So.
Does it start with a question 11?
1 through 10 were the multiple choice questions we just did, and then 11 is the problem. So the part 1 and part 2 together are 1 through 10 for multiple choice questions, and then 11 is the actual problem. Okay, I tell you what. If you're still working on the practice exam, go ahead and you can go ahead and email me your answers. I need to close the poll just because we can go on with the other part, and I want to go over the multiple choice questions, so you guys have the solutions to them, so that we can go on. So I'm going to go ahead and close the poll again. If you're still working on them, and I know some of you probably still are, go ahead and email them.
Hold on, don't close it. All right, let me just write down what I have for a sec. I don't know if it's gonna exit,
Sure.
All right, I'm good.
All right, I am going to end the poll and share results. And we'll go over them so you guys have the.
Is the red one the correct answer?
I know I haven't put the correct answers up yet. Yeah, so we'll go through and okay, so okay, dividends appear on. Most picked answer was the correct one. Oops. C. Retained earnings statement only. Number 2, debts and obligations of the business are referred to as, again, the class picks liabilities, and that is correct. The tough one. Which of the following is an asset? I didn't put this on anything, but it is investments. Class is correct on that one too. And on this one of those ones you could figure out through, you know, if you didn't know what this was, which I didn't tell you, you may have looked it up, but whatever. If you know what retained earnings are, you know that's not an asset. Mortgage payable, liability. Excuse me, common stock, excuse me, equity. So you know that these 3 are not assets. So that one must be. Which of the following is not a liability? 4. Oops. B. Accounts receivable, it's an asset. Question 5, retained earnings. For a period equal to A is correct. So far, so good. Halfway through. All right. This one comes. All right. Started the year was 330. Okay, so one of the things you have to do on this is one of those ones that you retained earnings. So we have beginning retained earnings. 330. 330,000. You have to add in the net income.
I can't really see what you're doing. Is it possible that you can make like what you're doing bigger?
You can move where the poll is. If you like click on it at the top of the tab, you can move it where you want it or make it smaller.
So check out the dividends. Yeah, and by the way, I mean, we're, you know, this is all new. How much was it? It's 40,000. Now I got to figure out the income because that's not really given here. But they do give us the revenues. And they give us the expenses. So from that, I can figure out the income. A bit of work on this one. And expenses. And that will give me my net income. Which is what, 120,000? Okay, so net income will be plus. So our ending retained earnings. What is that? 5,410, right?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know how I did this, but I got the same 14 that you did, and I feel like you did something different than I did.
Could be.
I added I added the 330 plus the 500,000, and then I subtracted the expenses from that, and I got the 4.
And then the dividends, yeah, that's exactly the same. Yeah, so you included those. That is probably more a quicker way, certainly, of getting it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so 6. This one, be careful. This is only for net income. So net income is just revenues minus expenses. Oh, it's got it. Very good. Okay, so hey, what happened? All right, so that's that one.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For that one, didn't the top of the didn't say change common stock for cash? 40,000 of common stock for cash. Isn't cash isn't cash in the income statement, like for revenues and like
It's not on the income statement, actually.
cash is an asset, right? All right, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So basically, that would be cash would go up, and then also I can't put my hands on the right side, but anyway, cash will go up, and then the equity section will go up.
Yeah, no, yeah, right. I follow you. That was the one that I thought was E, but then you just don't subtract the 40 after that, because then it would have been 10,000, not 50,000.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this common stock. So this, and here's another thing that is somewhat important. And that is, remember that common stock has to do with owners. You cannot make income off of owners.
Right.
Yeah. So anytime you have any transaction with the owners, you can't make revenues or expenses with the owners. So dividends is a completely separate thing.
Yeah.
And same thing with common stock. So yeah. So and they may say issuing something, they may say sold common stock. You think, oh, it must be sales. It's actually not, because it's with the owners.
Understood.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is the hard one. Okay, started the year total assets equal 140,000 until liabilities. Okay, so
So with this one, my thought process was, I remember you telling me that our 1 second. I remember you saying that our end equity and our liability should add up to give us our assets.
Yep.
So I kind of like reversed it, I guess, because it gave us the amount of assets and the liabilities, but they didn't give us the equity.
Yeah. Yeah, so they give us our assets, they have to go to liabilities, which are 80,000. Plus our equity, which they don't give it. So this is kind of the problem, is they don't give. First of all, I didn't spell it right. So this is the problem, is that one. So you get the equity. So you know that the assets and liabilities have to the assets have to equal the liabilities plus the equity. So if you want this equity account, what you could do is just minus 80,000 from each side, right? And that would give you whatever that's supposed to be. You know, if this is a regular equation, you know, it would look like this. Oops. You know, if you put it in this kind of an equation, you know, then it's not too bad to solve. You subtract 80,000 from each side, and it'll tell you what the equity is.
I kept getting confused by that because I would get 60,000 and not
Right.
like anything else.
That's right. 60,000 is right.
Oh.
So this is your beginning equity.
Oh, beginning.
So the beginning equity is 60,000. Okay, now it's sort of like this one up here. Be lazy and copy this. And the beginning retained earnings is 60,000. Net income, we got to figure that out. Let's see the dividends were. Oh, 40,000. Nice of them. Exactly the same. All right. So they tell us that I don't like this. 220. I'll tell you why I don't like this problem, and I'm guilty of it myself. These two 110s are an unhappy coincidence. Your expenses do not always equal your income. As humans, we always try to, you know, look for things that are for reasons for stuff, but that one is just an unhappy coincidence that those two are the same number. But we'll put it in. Oops, I put it in correctly. How about? Okay, so we started out with 60,000. Added income of 110, dividends of 40, minus 40. So what is that? 130? Yeah. Yeah, so this would be you got the so the actual answer is D. Okay, let's go to number 9. If stockholders' equity increased by 10,000, liabilities decreased by 50,000. Total assets must have equal. Okay, so this is another one of those things you have like X equals assets. So X equals liabilities decreased by 50,000. So this would be liabilities. So X must equal minus 40. Okay, got it. And dividends. Reported on the statement of retained earnings. That is correct. Okay. Well, we got a number of glitches there. I'll go ahead and give you guys full credit. You get +4 on this.
What?
So okay, so that's that one. Let me see.
Could you like email us this one that you just put like corrections on? Because I want to.
That's not democratic.
Which one?
Oh, I was just saying that. I was asking if you could send us this, if you could send me this in an email so I can go back over and kind of compare the stuff that
Yeah, no problem. I'll post it in I'll post it in the files in Blackboard, that way anyone can get it.
All right, I appreciate it.
Okay, let's go. So I'm gonna close this poll. Stop sharing and let's see here. Download the results. Okay. All right, let's go to this one. Now, a couple things. First of all, you'll notice that this has some stuff that we have not done before. This is all new, trial balance, debit credits. Now, for this problem, we don't have to worry about it. This is actually what we're going to cover in chapter 2, these debits and credits. And trial balance is actually in chapter 4. But the debits and credits, so don't worry about it. We're just going to take the numbers. We're just going to take the numbers that are given. And that's what we're going to use for to make our financial statements. Okay, so we're going to use these numbers. Again, don't worry about debit or credit. It doesn't mean anything to us now. And we're going to plug them in to these financial statements. Okay. Start out with the income statement. We start with the
Revenue.
revenues. I mean, I'm going to put it in capitals so that just so it's easier to see. Okay.
I think revenues is 5,900.
Yep. And now we put in all the stuff underneath here. This is cost of goods sold, rent expense, wage expense, miscellaneous expense. So these are all.
Is there like a set amount of, or not a set amount, like things that should automatically or always go on the income statement? So like I know for the first one it's revenue.
Yep.
So like you know how there's listed things, like if I see them, they should always go on the income statement. Like you know what I mean?
Yep. Cost of goods sold will always go on there. And anything that's an expense. Oops, that's nice. So revenues will always go on it. And anything that's an expense will go on it. I'm going to be lazy and copy these. Yeah, so anytime you see expense, it's going to be on the
The income statement.
Yep.
All right, cool. So anytime I see, or Wouldn't even say negative numbers.
Yeah, these all be negative. Yep.
Yeah.
So cost of goods sold and any expense will be on there. And
Would
this-
accounts payable be on there because they have to? It wouldn't.
No, these are, and no, it's a good question because that's actually one of the things that people miss a lot. The
Those are not
payables
negative.
are things you owe, but they're not expenses. We're gonna find out that they could go hand in hand, that you owe somebody and it is an expense, but the payable itself is gonna be a liability. Yeah, so cost of goods sold, expenses, those are the only things on the income statement.
But just to be like certain, for the income statement, there's never anything besides the revenue that'll be a positive value on there.
There could be other terms for it. I think I sent out, let me see if it goes back to this thing. I know this is kind of confusing, but they could call it something else, but basically probably 90% of the companies call it revenues. And some call it sales, but they're exactly the same thing. So revenues and sales are exactly the same thing, but yeah, anytime you see revenue, it's on the income statement. And that's what we're going to be using for, yeah, so, oops, where am I at? Okay. So revenues will always be on there. Anything that's a revenue. And cost of goods sold expenses, and any cost or expense is going to be a negative. And this will give us our net income. Oops, let's change that. Okay. Time for Mr. Calculator. Oh wait, I got my calculator cam. Is my calculator cam on? Okay. Yeah, you guys, if you need to go out to class, but by the way, this video is always going to be up. You can always go through and look through the video. So yeah, if you need to get to class, I understand absolutely. All right. Okay. 2120? Is that it? Okay. All right. And now we go to statement of retained earnings. Okay, so statement of retained earnings and $3,000. So the retained earnings is $3,000. Let me see, abbreviate.
So just how income statement it all should be expenses. Expenses, retained earnings should all be like money going in or money that you're keeping.
Retained earnings, yeah. Well, retained earnings is income that you've earned that you have not, the owners have not taken the income out. So they've earned the income, but they haven't taken it out. So this income is, basically this is income from the past. We're going to add the income from this period. So this will be, this is the same income as up there, basically. And we're going to subtract out the dividends. That's owners taking money out. And this will give us our ending retained earnings. Oops. 4780.
Yeah, I got that too.
Is there anything else that will go in the beginning retained earnings?
Nope.
If we see it, like there's something that's not on this trail balance that would go in there.
You know, this is the only thing that'll go on there is the difference declared, and that's it. It's a rather boring statement because it's always the same. You know, it's just gonna go beginning plus net income minus dividends, and you have ending retained earnings. So that's it. Yeah. Okay, assets. Basically, all these up here are the assets. Anything of value. Most people get the assets correct. Anything that has a value to the place. So cash, accounts receivable, land, equipment, those are all assets. There's two of them.
Right.
These are all assets. And by the way, you can also look on this, this sheet down here. This is kind of a roadmap. It'll tell you where it goes. Okay, so. Thousand. So these are all those up there. Liabilities. Anything that's a payable liability.
Okay.
Yo,
So whenever you see payable, liabilities, these are oops. I don't say always, but most of the time they'll be payable. I should say mostly. Usually, how about? But payables are there could be unearned revenue in there too. But whenever you see payable, it's a liability.
You forgot to put the total assets.
No, they're down here.
Thank you, never mind.
No, that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, so this would be total liabilities. Would be these. $31.10. Our equity would be our common stock. 700. plus our ending retained earnings. That's our total equity. What is it, 50? 80? Now, this thing balanced 310 plus 80. It does. Hey, hey.
For the assets, would you say it's like receivables or anything with value?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And the reason why receivables are considered an asset is they have a future value that's going to be cash. You know, when they actually pay them, you know, we actually get paid for them, they become cash. So that's why they're an asset.
And liabilities are anything owed, right?
Yep.
Ah.
Yeah, so payables, liabilities, and any receivable will be an asset.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so, yeah, so anytime there's accounts receivable, there's other receivables, there's, if you have a refund from the government, it'd be taxes receivable, and there's all kinds of ones that could be there, but receivables are always going to be assets, payables always liability.
Where'd you get the 5,480 from for total equity?
Oh, adding these two together, the common stock.
I thought they were supposed to equal the total assets. Those two numbers together don't.
So these two together. These two together.
Oh shit. Okay, so the total liabilities, total
Yeah.
equity should equal assets. Okay.
Oops, let's get that one down a little further. Yeah, so these two together, and basically, well, here's what this tells us: you get 8,590 of assets. How'd you get it? You borrowed 3,110, and the owners kicked in 5,480. So it kind of just tells us. Where it came from. So you got all these assets, they don't just come from anywhere, they have to come from someplace. So 3,110 borrowed 5,480. Another way to think about it is if you sold these assets, you'd have to pay off these liabilities, and then the owners would be able to have whatever's left over of the assets after you pay off your liabilities. So yeah, so this is what is it actually how you get these assets. Basically how the balance sheet. Okay, I'll post this thing out there too, but I also have the video. Again, the video, it actually has been rendering a little faster now, so hopefully it'll be in there. I shouldn't say that, especially today, but.
So we all got the extra credit?
Yeah, if a poll, or if you sent me an email, if you couldn't get into the poll, send me an email with your answers, and I can check to see if you attended the class, and I'll put it in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. Yep. Sorry for going over, but we will. I'll send out the exam later on today, but probably like in the next hour or two. It'll be out there, and you'll have until the 17th, I think I said. Yeah, 17th to turn it in. Encourage you to do it sooner. It comes right off of the multiple choice questions we did and off of the this thing here we just did.
All right, teach. Appreciate you.
Hey guys, so they're keeping awake.
You want us to send you the part 2?
Yes, I'll put that in right now. The so this handouts here. Yeah, let me put that in right now.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
All right, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
Part 2 was the word problems, right? And part 1 was the multiple choice.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I'm about to send you an email right now.
So chapter 1, practice exam, part 2.
Did you say that you were going to post what you when you went over the multiple choice?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll put them in the class handouts, so everyone can look at them. Okay.
Thanks.
And
Okay, just to be clear, we don't have to submit any of the parts for the practice exam that we just went over?
part 2, you do submit. That's what I'm putting in
Okay.
right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Part 1, you already get the extra credit points, so you don't need to put that one.
Thank you. Have a great day.
I will. You too.
I'm sorry again. So number 8, I know that you went over it. Did you write out? Because I ended up, that was the one that I made a mistake with. So I just wanted to make sure that you went through that number 8 and explained the process through that. on the multiple
Yeah.
choice.
This is it. This is, and it'll be on that.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
We can leave the class, right?
Yeah. I'm just cleaning this up here, but yeah, I'll stop it.
So, okay, you're good. So we just have to turn in an email, and then only thing for homework is like just whatever's in Blackboard, right?
Yeah. So with the chapter 1, part 2 practice exam, that'll be for, we just did it. The financial statements. And then I'm also going to send the exam out, and I'll put a submit place for the exam